Welcome to Mental Makeover Radio, your go to destination for meaningful conversations about mental health. I'm your host and your trusted therapist bestie, Cecilia Manella. Join us as we explore the complexities and messiness of human experience by addressing your questions and concerns. I'm here to provide a straightforward and practical therapy advice. So grab your favorite beverage, whether it's tea, coffee, or whatever tickles your taste buds, and get ready to embark on a mental makeover. What if I told you that I could teach you a hack on how to shift how you show up in your life? Probably in less than a minute once you figure out how to do it. I can show you how to have more confidence, to have more assertiveness, to have more authority, anything that you really want to feel in your life. I'm going to teach you how to use an alter ego in your life. I know, just bear with me. It is a bit of a trick and there's a little bit of structure to it, but it is a sure way to change how you show up in your life. I know it may sound really weird. And so I want you to bear with me today because we're stepping into the world of visualization and maximizing your ability to be creative and curious. So, what is an alter ego? Now, Todd Herman wrote a book called The Alter Ego Effect: The Power of Secret Identities to Transform Your Life. If you want to dive deeper into this topic, I highly suggest you read the book. And no, I don't get any royalties for making that recommendation. I really wish I could, but I don't. I don't get any royalties. It's just a really great book and it is really brilliantly written by Todd Herman. But I'm going to give you some of the highlights of what he kind of wrote in his book, but also the way that I've used it. This concept's been around for a really long time. It's not a new thing, even though I think Todd Herman wrote his book in 2019. You know, what is an alter ego? So, an alter ego is a person's secondary or alternative personality, let's call it, or an intimate and trusted friend. Okay, so that's like the actual definition of an alter ego. So, what it really is a different version of you. It's like a secondary or alternative personality to you. It's not a fake version of you. It's not a, not authentic version of you. It's just kind of this other part of you. The thing is that we're all have a whole bunch of parts to us. We're whole, but we are made up of different parts. We have, a child version of us, we have a teenage version of us, we have a rebellious side of us, we have the good employee version of us. We have all these versions of ourselves, and they all exist within one person, the magical person that you actually are. We're definitely way more complex than we think we are. So I really want you to resonate with these different parts of us and these different ideas of different slices of who we are has also been around for quite a while. It's a lot of the work we do inner child work in therapy where we connect to the younger version of us or the child within us. And so we're just kind of taking that concept and we're elevating it just a little bit more. So I'll share with you when I started using my alter ego and how I found it really helpful in my life and how I used it. And hopefully that'll inspire you to maybe adopt your own alter ego and find ways to implement that into your life in a way that's kind of really just fun. And, I just really want you to let go of preconceived notions of what this is. And instead of coming up with ideas why it won't work for you, I want you to have a super open mind around the possibilities of being able to use an alter ego. So I started using alter ego probably way back in the day when I graduated from university. So I completed my master's degree and I started this counseling practice. And then I was offered a teaching position at the university. As excited as I was about these opportunities that were coming my way, to be honest, it scared the shit out of me. I was 29 years old and I was full of imposter thoughts and feelings. I just could not believe this was happening to me. And everything that ran through my mind was, who am I to be doing these things? And when are people going to figure out that the jig is up and that they shouldn't have picked me? And I'm not qualified to do this. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm just faking my way through all of these things. People around me saw potential in me, but I just couldn't see it. And so these amazing opportunities were coming my way, and I was really, really struggling with feeling like I'd earned it somehow, or I was worthy of it, or that I was actually going to do a good job. Like, it was absolutely terrifying. If you can think of a time where an opportunity came to you maybe just a little bit sooner than you thought you would get it, or maybe before you were actually 100% ready, you know what I'm talking about. That those imposter feelings, those thoughts of not being good enough, or that people are going to find out that you have no idea what the fuck you're doing, and that they made a really big mistake by offering you this opportunity. Even though I had those imposter thoughts and feelings, I just really didn't wanna give up those opportunities. I wasn't in a position to say no, so I took the leap of faith and I jumped into it. So, I had to figure out a way to step into confidence really quickly so that I could earn that confidence. So confidence comes from the experience. It doesn't come from just thinking about being more confident. We actually have to have the experiences of doing something to actually earn that sensation of confidence, that feeling of confident. So, by definition, confidence is your ability to figure things out as you go. The idea that you can trust and lean into yourself knowing that you're going to figure it out. Well, as a first time university instructor in my life, and I was barely 30, I did not believe I'd earned that confidence. So that's when I started using an alter ego as a way to transform how I showed up and essentially how I felt doing it. What's really interesting is that research shows that how you hold your body physically influences how you feel. So, you can take the Superman or Superwoman stance and it actually alters your brain chemistry. So, the stance you're talking about, like feet shoulder width apart, you put your hands on your hips and you stand up proud and you kind of look up a little bit, maybe to the sky, not quite all the way to the sky, but just kind of away into the horizon and take like a Superman stand. Now, if you're listening to this in your car, you can't do a Superman stand. Um, but if you are walking wherever, I want you to like take a moment to take that stance. I know maybe people will stare at you and think you're weird. Who cares? I want you to take that stance, a Superman stance, the Superwoman stance. And it takes less than 10 seconds for that to alter your brain chemistry because it induces confidence in assertiveness and power and feeling the sense of being assured within inside of you. Now, that's pretty amazing that you can just shift your body position and experience a huge emotional and cognitive shift. This is like the biggest hack out there. You want to change how you show up in your life, change how you stand, change how you sit. You want to be more confident, stand differently. So, when I use this, when I was especially teaching my first year of university, I took this on. I took this idea of just standing in this way, in a really powerful way, and stepping into this alter ego, this version of myself that isn't 100% present yet. Doesn't mean it's never going to get there. It just means we're stepping into something. So I want you to imagine that you can step into an alter ego, a version of you that isn't 100% present yet, and I want you to like visualize stepping into a character of sorts, like visualize stepping into it, which means you can actually step out of it as well. So this isn't about pretending to be somebody you're not. I really want to drive that home. It is about stepping into a version of you that you're not quite ready yet. So what it is it's cultivating the characteristics that you want in your life by embodying an alter ego. It's like putting on a suit. It's putting on a jacket in a way that is empowering to you. So the really interesting thing is that kids do this all the time. I mean, if you spend any time with little people, they play and act out characters, embody them all the time. All the time. They watch a movie and then they perform that character. They pretend to be that character. They pretend to be cats and dogs and birds and whoever. They just embody characters. And some kids are so creative and just free of the rules that they'll embody that for long periods of time. and they will not shake it off. I mean, if you're a parent listening to this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When it drives you crazy, when your kid is pretending to be a cat and will not talk to you because they're just meowing at you the entire time and you want to pull your hair out. But what's really cool is that children embody alter egos all the time. It's part of being really creative and playful, but it is their ability to express a different version of themselves without having to change completely into somebody else. So, this is what we're doing. We're getting back into a bit of playfulness. We're using that part of our brain that's already there, and we're getting rid of some of the rules that tells us how we should act and how we should be. And we're putting those aside and we're stepping into an alter ego. Okay, so I've got 3 ways for you to do it. So it's a 3 steps, 3-step process. And the first one is, what do you want from an alter ego? Do you want confidence? Do you want more decision-making ability? Do you want better parenting skills? Do you want more social grace? Do you want more comfort? Do you want social skills? Do you want speaking skills? What is it that you're looking for? What do you feel like is a little bit lacking in your life? Or maybe there's a situation in your life that you want certain characteristics for. I want you to make a long list of all the characteristics you want. Now, we can be as creative as we possibly want, and the list can be as long as you want to make it. It doesn't mean that there's one single alter ego that's going to fit all the characteristics, because maybe you need to create 2 or 3 of them, which, by the way, is super fun to create multiple alter egos that you can step into. Trust me, it's like so much fun to play. But I want you to make a long list, and I want you to get really, really specific about the characteristics that you're looking for. Okay. Step 2, once you've made your long list of all the characteristics you want, I want you to take it to step 2, which is, I want you to think of someone who embodies the characteristics that you want. It can be a real person, or it can be a character in a movie or a book, fictional or real. It doesn't actually matter. I want you to think of someone that you've had some contact with, where you have a clear image in your mind and proof that this person or this character embodies what you're looking for. So maybe it's a character in a movie you've seen over and over again. Maybe it's a character in a book. Maybe there's someone in your life. Maybe when you were a child or a young person, there was a teacher you looked up to, or an auntie or an uncle or somebody that you looked up to that you felt embodied the things that you're looking for. I want you to write out all the details about this person. How do they act? How do they make decisions? How do they show the characteristics that you want? How do they carry themselves? How do they walk through the world? What is it about them that you admire? I want you to write down as much detail as you possibly can. And why is this person or this character really stands out for you? What is it about them that stands out for you? What is it about them that draws you to them, that makes you want to embody something about them? So I want you to get really, really specific on this. And again, maybe there's like 2 characters or 3 characters, or there's one that embodies all the things. But I want you to tie this to someone that you have had some contact with. Fictional or real, it doesn't really matter. Even if it's a cartoon, it doesn't really matter. I just want you to have a visual of what your alter ego looks like. Now, if you struggle with that and it is a different version of you, so an alter ego can also be like the future version of you. So let's say the future version, the person you'll be in 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, that wise person can also be your alter ego. So it can be a older version of you, or it can be a younger version of you that maybe you felt like, when I was young, I was really adventurous and had a lot of courage and I was really bold, and I've lost track of that person. Okay, go back to that person. That younger version of you is there as your alter ego. Or the future version of you can also be your alter ego. Or you have both. Let's like fill up a conference room in your mind full of alter egos. Step 3, once you've got a list of the characteristics and then you've tied it to somebody or a character or a persona that you want to step into, step 3 is to practice stepping into that character. I want you to envision actually stepping into this character. Create a visual in your mind and begin to consult that alter ego. So for me, I imagine it's almost like this kind of sheer version, and I step into it and I embody that person. Um, kind of like the movies when there's ghosts and you kind of walk through the ghost. Like imagine kind of like walking into a ghost in a version uh of your life. And so you see this kind of shimmer of a person or character and you kind of step into it. Which means you can also step out of it. Like you are the one in control of this entire situation, this entire exercise, this experiment. You are in charge. Create a visual. It's really important to connect to visualization here. You need to imagine it. And then I want you to begin to consult that alter ego. What would they do in a situation? How would they handle a conflict? How would they handle boundaries? How would they handle someone at work? What do they value? How would they problem solve? How would they behave and how would they manage anger? How would they show up with empathy? There's all these things that you can tune into and begin to actively consult them. So when you have a clear vision in your mind and you can visualize using this alter ego, practice stepping in and out of it. Notice how it actually feels. You can use markers to also ground you into it. So things like pictures or images or jewelry or anything that is a grounding to help you remind yourself to step into the alter ego when you actually really need it. That is a really powerful exercise to do. And it can actually change how you feel. So you can gain confidence really, really quickly until you feel like you've earned it. You can gain strength really quickly until you feel like you've earned it and it becomes a bit more natural to you. So again, this isn't about pretending. This is about embodying what's already there, but isn't quite 100% ready to show up. We're just forcing, moving, encouraging this piece of you, this part of you, this version of you to step forward because she's already there. So for me, my alter ego that I used was Wonder Woman. Now, I grew up with younger brothers. I'm the oldest. And I grew up watching a lot of cartoons and a lot of superhero stuff. Superheroes and Star Wars and anything nerdy in between. I know it all. Trust me. So for me, it was Wonder Woman because for me, she is strength and grace and compassion, but brave and bold. And she had really clear boundaries. And when I was younger, I really struggled with people pleasing. And I needed a support to move into the direction of boundaries, and stepping into Wonder Woman as an alter ego really helped me because she's driven to help others being and she's caring, but yet she doesn't sacrifice herself to those relationships. There was this balance that I witnessed in my admiration of this character, that she was able to love and love herself and also have some loss and some grief, but still maintaining her strength and her confidence. So to me, she embodied everything I wanted to hold in my life and that I knew was probably below the surface, but I hadn't quite yet gained the experience of being able to hold on to that. So having an alter ego helped me as a resource to transform my nervousness and imposter thoughts. And I stepped into confidence. And it was a way for me to connect to a part of me that has always been there, but it was just a little bit untapped. So the alter ego is still you. It's a version of you that you're afraid to show, or a part of you that you haven't really figured out how to show. Or it's a little quiet voice that gets silenced out by fear and anxiety or pressures or people pleasing or fear of abandonment or anything else that shows up. It's a little tiny voice that's telling you to do something, to take a risk, to share your voice, to set your boundaries, to say what you need and want and desire in life. But it is being just overpowered by everything else that you've experienced, all the messaging that has told you not to say the things and not have confidence, to show up with doubt. that overpowers that little tiny voice. So stepping into an alter ego is a way of amplifying that voice that's already there. Trust me, you're not going to pick characteristics that are really foreign to you. You're not going to be someone who goes from complete empathy to narcissism because you want to focus on yourself. Like, that's just not going to happen. Trust me, we just don't pendulum swing in that way. These are all characteristics that are already there, but just haven't come to the surface yet. Or maybe they just need a little bit of help coming to the surface yet. So I want you to give this a try, and I want you to let me know how it goes. I'm like really intrigued to know how you're using the alter ego, who or what is your alter ego? What is it like for you to embody it, to show up with it? Drop me a comment, send me an email, let me know how you're using this to amplify your life, to amplify characteristics that you're really, really wanting, maybe in your life in general or for just specific situations. I want to know. Embodying the alter ego is a powerful thing to do. You can absolutely transform how you show up in different areas of your life with potentially a handful of different alter egos. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you like this episode, I'd love it if you could follow and rate the show. It really means a lot to me. The more people that follow and rate the show helps the show actually grow, which has been really fantastic. And I really appreciate you tuning in. And I really hope that you find this a little bit helpful around stepping into what you want in your own life. Thanks again for being part of the Mental Makeover community. Until next time, be bold, be brave, be well.